On this week's episode of Today I Would Like to Share.
Sonic watches the girl froze in place with the only part that moved being her eyes, which shot towards his rather uncomfortable bulge in his pants, the sight of which caused the gal's smile to grow.
That actually means that Kyle officially has rocks for brains.
And you're probably wondering, why the hell is Jordan talking about a hill? Well, it's not necessarily the hill, it's what's on top of the hill.
Hello and welcome to Today I Want to Share, where we take an hour out of our lives to share the things important to us. My name is Kyle, and with me today, he sailed the 11 seas with the accomplished pirate Booty and the Starfish, Jordan.
Hello.
And the only surviving member of the vigilante group Guns and More Emporium, Andrew.
Hey.
So, what's
I was
good
also
with the
the
two of you?
only member of that group to begin with. So.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, it sells it as like you've been through some tragic accident. If
Well, I like to frame it
yeah.
up that way,
Yeah.
but there was only ever one member.
So what's been good with you guys?
Not
A lot.
much.
Oh, see, all the good came my way.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's good.
Wow, you have
What's
a good
good?
week.
What's good in your life?
You know what? The weather's been good. Work's
Oh my
been
God.
fine. Been riding my bike a lot.
It hasn't rained in like 3 weeks, and I'm super happy about it. Wait, no, it did it the other day.
Nice.
Just it thunderstormed when I was sleeping, so I didn't have to pay attention to it.
I got a new bike, so I've been riding that. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, that thing looked pretty crazy, man.
It did look like a really nice bike.
I really enjoy it. I was riding the other day, and I have like a little computer on it that tells me how many miles I've gone and like my speed and stuff. And I looked down, and without even trying, I was going like 35.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's crazy.
That's pretty awesome. So I guess I'll start today. I have a beautiful piece of literature to share with you guys, and it might be a little long. I think it'll be under like 15 minutes, but just a wonderful piece of literature called Sonic's Ultimate Harem. Yes, that I did say harem. This is
Oh, wow.
a fan fiction about Sonic and all of its broody wonderfulness, where he explains to, as far as I've gotten, strictly to Mario, about all of his sexual adventures over the years with a whole bunch of characters that you've come to know and love and will probably hate after this. But this is in chapter 1 of in which he, during a flashback, he's telling Mario about his sexual escapades with a rogue from the X-Men. Also, sorry if you weren't ready for this today, but, you know, here we go. Let's start off with some erotica. This is pretty long. I might tag one of you in, except for I didn't send it to you, so I'm actually just going to read it all myself. So get ready for this. Feel free to interject with any comments or anything you have. I'll just pick up at the last sentence, and be ready to, because there's a lot of, like, English was this person's second language, and it comes out pretty heavily sometimes, but it's wonderful, and I love it. So here we go.
Excited. I'm ready.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Not saying a single word, Anna kept her seductive smile and remained in her current position. You and me are going to spend some time together in this room, and it will be the best night ever. Oh, and if you're concerned about someone discovering us, not to worry. I locked the door when I came in. No one's going to be crashing this, Rogue explained. Wait a minute, Sonic began, the gears in his head finally turning. Are you telling me what I think? As quickly as it began, his sentence was silenced by a finger to his lips. Shh, don't speak, just relax. Feeling all of his defenses having finally broken down, the blur, which is how this person refers to Sonic, the blue blur, the blur could do nothing but nod his head in response as his hormones slowly started to take control. With a seductive smile still present, Rogue leaned in closer, and in what felt like a flash, her lips locked with the blur's. Without any more hesitation, the blur kissed back as hard as he could, thus beginning their makeout session. As the hormones started to tighten their control on the blur, his arms immediately started snaking themselves around Anna's figure, which led to her wrapping her arms around his neck in response. Soon, the blur's hands were skillfully starting to caress the gal's bod and would eventually find themselves moving down to her waist. As time went on, the two of them began to deepen the kiss, which soon led to the air around them as well as the act becoming far more steamy and erotic. Soon their tongues were brutally wrestling with each other. Deciding to make things a bit more interesting, Rogue released one of her hands from around her neck and made her way down to his clothed crotch. In the story,
Can I pause
Sonic.
you there?
Yeah, go for it.
Tongues. What was the phrase? Tongues wrestling? I'm picturing like
that's-
two luchador masks
Hold up,
on
a
each
little bit
tongue.
better. Brutally wrestling. This is like
I'm
some
just like
70
picturing a luchador mask on each tongue as
Dude,
they
this
like,
is like
duke it out in a ring.
70s to 80s like territory era wrestling, like pro wrestling. Fucking Bruiser Brody up in here.
It's just some great visual wording there from
Yeah.
the original
Also,
author.
Sonic wears clothes in this universe, and he's just got super edgy like cargo pants with like a band T-shirt and stuff. It's really bad. Let's skip down a little bit here. So that's fun.
Sounds like Ben Grossbauer.
yeah, it does. Really, Rogue asked, her tone full of surprises. Well, tell me, how are you enjoying it? Sewing it so It looks like I already have my answer. Sonic watched as the girl froze in place, with the only part that moved being her eyes, which shot towards his rather uncomfortable bulge in his pants, the sight of which caused the gal's smile to grow. Oh my, it looks like it's being strangled. Here, I'll help it breathe a little. Rogue cooed. A few seconds later, the Southern Belle wasted no time in climbing off the blur, which her once more right... man, sometimes this is hard to read. In no time, in climbing off the blur, which left her once more right beside him, and once she had the perfect position, she wasted no time and proceeded to undo the buttons and zipper of the cargo pants, and after a few more seconds, she finally unveiled his 9.5-inch pride and joy.
9.5.
9.5? Jesus. Sonic, where have you been hiding that thing, my dude?
Better include that 0.5. Don't forget it.
Pleasantly surprised by the length as well as the thickness, Rogue licked her lips and proceeded to wrap her hand around the base, which followed up in a nice little test stroke, which caused the blur to shiver with pleasure.
I hope she told Sonic that, and it wasn't just assumed. Like, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the length and thickness. And thickness. Hold on. That too.
I'm going to skip a little bit more. Fuck! The moment he sounded off that cry, it was almost like a warning that came seconds too late, as right when he was on the verge of saying it, jet after jet of his sperm came bubbling and launching from his folds. His folds?
Folds? What?
And into the gal's mouth. Right then, Rogue's eyes came shooting up as the seemingly endless waves of spunk kept pounding the back of her throat. This caught her off guard, so much so, in fact, that the gal was actually at first trying to pull away, but eventually, once she got used to the salty and yet surprising, very sweet taste, she remained on it and kept sucking, which of course prompted a scream from the blur. After the climax finally ended, Rogue slowly pulled away from the surprisingly still. Man, that's a lot of fucking qualifiers. Rogue slowly pulled away from the surprisingly still fairly hard shaft and swallowed the remaining cum, and once she felt slid comfortably down her gullet, she licked her lips. Now that was tasty, Rogue commented with a smirk. Okay, that's about as much as I can take.
Wow.
Kyle,
What?
I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
What the hell were you looking up when you found this?
I actually found it while watching like a show on YouTube. They it's called the Game Grumps. They play a lot of video games, and they're on a mission to like beat all of the Sonic games. And then one of them brought this up. He started somewhere in like, okay, I forgot to tell some of the best parts about this. This dude's been doing this for fucking ever. This was posted in July 26, 2013, and this is the first of 360 chapters.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
Yeah, the dude is prolific. It's just like unbelievable.
So the real story here is the author, who's dedicated his whole
Yeah,
life to
by-
writing Sonic
Who
fanfic.
is Little Sonic with a Q on fanfiction.net, which this is probably going to be my new favorite site from now on. So I'm looking through the chapters and seeing if there's any like good people. Wonder Girl, Miss Martian. He like I've read like in different bits that like he doesn't want to do anybody from the Sonic series. Like they all have to be crossovers. It's just like
Wow.
sure, like okay, like I can't believe you're
He's a
doing
man
this.
of principles.
Yeah.
I can't believe somebody's spending that much time on that.
Like one of the chapters is Misty from Black Ops 2. There's Brigitte from Overwatch. Like this is just amazing. This person is my hero. A total of 1,600,000 or 663,117 words so far. That's
beautiful.
like that's amazing.
So, like hundreds of years from now, when like archaeologists are studying our time period of civilization, they're gonna stumble across this and be like, "Wow,
Absolutely.
There's really a Shakespeare of his time."
And yeah, and they're hopefully this is the only thing that survives, so they can be like, this is what their civilization is all about.
This was the literature they enjoyed.
It was just this shitty dressed hedgehog fucking human beings. But
And Martians.
and Martians apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question to you guys is, which of your favorite video game characters do you want Sonic to plow in Chapter 361?
That's a great.
Is it?
It's a great
Is it a great
question.
question?
I'm
It
gonna
is.
say Leon from Resident Evil.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, get a little bi action going on in here. That's great.
Yeah, and then in the middle of the chapter, some zombies break in. They have to deal with that real quick, and then
Then
they
you
just
have
get
to-
back to plowing.
Sonic picks up a gun and just starts shooting zombies because that's how Sonic fights. At least it is how he does in some video games. But oh wait, never mind. That was a shadow game. Andrew,
I think I'd like to see him and M. Bison from Street Fighter mix it up a little.
I like how you both went with dudes. Right on.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's my piece.
What would you pick, Kyle?
What would I pick? Probably the Great Jagras from Monster Hunter World.
Oh, some beast on beast action, huh?
Hell yeah.
Hell
The
yeah.
hedgehog isn't afraid of a bigger beast.
Hell no.
Clearly not.
The blur.
I imagine those spikes don't feel good though.
Probably not. This is okay. Yeah, I know you guys haven't played Monster Hunter, but that's what it looks like.
Who's the more dominant one?
You know what? Let's be honest here. It's Sonic.
probably.
Sonic dominates everybody.
He's too quick for
It's
everybody.
got that 9.5,
Hell yeah, yeah, exactly. You think that creature has a 9.5? Hell no.
I don't know.
It's only like the size of like 3 buses put together, but it probably has a small penis.
That beast is looking for a pounding. Sonic's
Oh,
bringing the hammer.
Goodness, Sonic's bringing the hammer. Anyway, that's what I had to share today.
All right,
That's
that was
beautiful. Inspirational.
Who'd like to go next?
How about
Good.
me?
Go right ahead.
Thanks. Today, I would like to share with you a game I like to call Who Has Rocks for Brains? You guys ready to play Who Has Rocks for Brains?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
It's
Let
gonna
me
tell
tell
me
you
what
this.
I already know, but it's fine.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, here are the rules. I'm going to give you a topic, and then you're going to have to go back and forth giving me answers with the topic. If one of you provides a wrong answer, a repeated answer, or takes way too long to come up with an answer, the win will go to the other player.
Heck yes. Bring it.
All right. Today's topic is the top grossing Marvel films. Pretty timely. Avengers Endgame is upon us. So I have in my possession a list of all the movies in the Marvel Universe. So it
Okay.
doesn't include the X-Men or anything produced by Fox.
Yeah. Okay.
Besides Endgame, also. Not including that one yet. So every movie up to Endgame and how much they made in the box office. And I'm using the domestic totals, not the international. So if you're thinking like, oh, that
Yeah.
movie was huge in Brazil, don't think U.S.
I don't think I'd ever think, hey, that movie was huge in Brazil.
China. It's all about them China numbers these days.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
very true.
So there's 21 total movies, not counting Endgame. I'm asking you to name the top 10. So don't give me anything
Okay.
in the bottom 11. Give me movies in the top 10. And we need to determine who goes first. So
Nose
who's
goes.
got who's got longer hair right now? Do you think?
Me, for
Yeah,
sure.
Jordan.
Kyle just
I
shaved
literally
his
just
head.
shaved my head.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. All right, Jordan, just go first.
Oh, okay.
All
We
right.
don't
I
have
had time
to.
to shave your head, Kyle.
We don't have to list them in order, do we? It's just one
Nope.
of the top 10. Okay.
No, anything off the top 10. No repeated answers though. So if you forget one that was mentioned at the beginning and you end up repeating it, automatic win to the other player.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to say Infinity War.
Infinity War, the very first one. No, that's actually the third Avengers movie, isn't it? All right.
Yeah.
Infinity War is definitely in the top 10. That's number 2.
I'm going to say Avengers.
6. Oh, right off the bat, saying another one. All right. Well, let me tell you how much that one made, just to give you
okay,
kind of a
okay.
frame of reference. So, number 2, Infinity War, made $678 million. And Avengers definitely in the top 10 as well. That's number 3, actually, with $623 million. All
Okay.
right,
right,
Jordan, back to you.
I'm going for the number one answer. Give me Black Panther.
That is correct.
Shit.
Black Panther is the number 1 answer. That one was $700 million. And that's just domestic. All 3 of these top movies went over $1 billion when you
And
count
before
international.
before Endgame beats them all.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I think that it's like almost beating it in the opening weekend already.
I think so, yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Um,
Kyle, your turn.
I'm going to say Civil War.
Civil War, Captain America. That is number 6 on the list.
Okay.
Still in the clear. $408 million. All right,
Oh,
Jordan.
back to me.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, man, we'll go with Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Also in the top 10. That's number 8 with $359 million.
Oh, shoot.
All right, Kyle.
I'm running
Back
out
to
of
you.
memory. Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok is not in the top
Hey.
10.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I would have, if I hadn't seen this list, I definitely would have thought Ragnarok was in the top 10. It's one of my all-time favorite
Yeah.
Marvel movies. I think they did
That
such
is
a
a
great
great
job
one.
on that one. But it is actually number 12 in the list.
Oh my God.
315 million.
Can I make a guess for a couple
Yeah.
of the other ones?
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, does that mean I have
Um,
rocks for brains?
That actually means that Kyle officially has rocks for brains.
I want to say Spider-Man: Homecoming is probably up there.
Yeah.
That's number 9.
I was going to say that, but then I remembered Ragnarok, and I'm like, dude, that movie was great.
Yeah.
Apparently not great enough.
Man,
All right,
I'm
there's
on a
3 in
roll.
the top 10 you haven't named yet. Number 4, number 5, and number 7.
Okay. I think I remember Iron Man 3. Maybe it was 2.
No,
No,
Iron-
3 making a lot of money.
Iron Man 3 made money in China. I don't think it did U.S.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3 surprisingly did really well.
Really?
Yeah, it is strange because I feel like the first Iron Man's really good, and then like the other 2 are kind of okay in my opinion.
I liked 3, but not as much as 1.
Yeah, it's number 5 on the list though with 409
Yeah,
million.
damn.
Did not see
5?
that coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you're missing 4, and you're missing 7. You want me to give them to you?
I
I
want
feel
to try
like Guardians
one
of
more.
the Galaxy 2.
All right.
Oh, I totally
Goes up
forgot
there.
about those.
Yeah, that's actually number 7. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, $389 million.
What was
So-
Volume 1 at?
Probably 4.
I feel like that's got to be in top 10.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot. I wasn't like out of the missing ones. I wasn't counting number 10, and Guardians of the Galaxy is number 10.
Yeah, okay. So what's 4?
$333 million.
I don't know why I know all this.
So
I
4
love the
is-
Avengers.
Surprisingly, Age of Ultron.
I was gonna guess
What?
that because I fucking
Yeah.
hate that movie. I hate it.
Wow.
I was gonna guess that too.
I didn't have as much
Yeah.
of a problem as other people, but it definitely did
I hated
stand out
it.
as being great.
It completely ruined Ultron for me. Like,
I had no context of what Ultron was before, so
I hated it.
But
That actually was going to be
Yeah,
my
that's-
question to follow up the game. Is like, is there a Marvel movie that you have a strong reaction to? Like, either yes, this is my favorite Marvel movie, or this is by far my least favorite Marvel movie.
Well, I absolutely 100% hated Captain Marvel. Age of Ultron, for sure. Just because Ultron is like the most badass supervillain, and he had good intentions for a villain at least. And they just made one short, shitty movie about him, and that's it. He's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
I think probably Winter Soldier is the movie I like the most.
That was a great movie.
It
That's number 14 on the list. I also really like that movie.
I think shot for shot, it was probably the best made movie they've done.
See, I'm gonna say my favorite now is definitely Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I like the buddy cop thing going on. That was fun.
But I
Yeah.
agree, Winter
But-
Soldier was phenomenal.
I kind of also had like a mini like panic attack during that movie towards the end, so like I wasn't super keyed in on the end of it.
Fair enough.
I thought that Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson had really good chemistry in that movie,
Yeah.
and I think they had like worked on a movie just before they did that. It was actually
Oh, that
like Brie
helps.
Larson's directorial debut, and it went to like film festival. I think it was picked up by Netflix. It's called The Unicorn Store.
Oh, interesting.
I haven't watched it yet, but it looks interesting, and I'm pretty sure they worked on that project before they went to Captain Marvel. But you could definitely
Yes.
tell they were working really well together.
I think
That
on
does sound interesting.
an emotional level though, probably Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Like, and I'd say it was the soundtrack, but it's not because I didn't grow up in that time and listen to any of that music at the time. Although it is an amazing soundtrack, but I think it just like it really hit like the anime trope of like friendship is the power that saves everything.
Yeah,
But it hit it and it didn't seem corny or anything like that. It was just really cool and fluid. So
yeah. I Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 definitely up there in my top list. I think my favorite though is Thor Ragnarok, and I think it's just because they seem
That was
to
great.
like take Thor in a completely different direction than he had been in any of the previous movies, and
I
it was
agree.
just like I think it also is the funniest Marvel movie. Like it was laugh out loud
Yeah.
funny for the majority of the movie.
I do agree with that too, and also I feel like it seemed so good. Like, don't get me wrong, it was an amazing movie. I loved it, but the first two Thors were garbage in my opinion. I thought they were awful, especially number one.
agree.
Number two was okay, but number one was horrible.
Oh, I'm kind of the reverse of that. Like I like number 1, and then the Dark World is number 2, and that one was just like okay. It was really strange, I thought. And
Thor-
then,
Fair enough.
Thor: Dark World's the only movie I saw in theaters by myself.
Really,
So I don't know if that affects my viewing of it, but it was kind of weird.
the
yeah,
only movie I saw in theaters by myself was the remake of It.
Hmm.
But I love it, so
I just like the confidence that Marvel has in like their IPs. I guess it's just like Thor: The Dark World didn't do well, really all that well.
Yeah. Let's
Number
bring on
17 on the list out of the
let's bring
21.
on a good director and really knock it out of the park.
Yeah. And
So-
then instead of like saying, "Oh, Thor's just not selling well," they're like, "No, we need to mix things up a little bit," and then they nailed it on
it
Ragnarok.
was
so-
incredible. What was the last movie? I want to make a
The-
guess before you say it.
Yeah, go for it.
It's got to be the Hulk.
It 100%
Oh,
is the
yeah.
Incredible Hulk from 2008.
It's
it
hard
was
to-
released the same year as Iron Man. Iron Man did super well. Incredible Hulk did not so well. 134 million.
It's hard to remember that movie is canon.
It is. It is the first appearance of, and I can't remember, Mark Ruffalo as. I was just about to say I couldn't remember his name as I remembered it.
Edward
but,
Edward Norton was the Hulk in that movie.
He was.
Yeah, Edward
Not in
Norton
the
was
first
Hulk.
one, not in the
No,
Marvel
I
one.
think there's just two
Oh.
different Hulk movies.
No.
Yeah, that was
they're-
before Marvel. And that Edward
Yeah.
Norton's was terrible. That was awful. I
Yeah,
hated
but
that
that's
movie.
the one that's canon.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the one that what?
That's the one that's canon.
Is it
I think
really?
it was called The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's called The Incredible Hulk. I think actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. So why did Mark Ruffalo play him in everything after?
Because
they just
they
Oh,
don't-
actually, I know
Norton's
the
too
answer to
pricey?
that. No, they
Oh.
they kicked Edward Norton off the set after the movie was filmed because nobody liked working with him because
Yeah.
he's such a dick.
Edward Norton's notoriously hard to work with.
Oh, really? I did not
Yeah,
know
he's-
that.
yeah.
I've
he's
liked
like the
some of
biggest
his work,
douchebag.
I mean,
Huh.
he's
He's a good actor, but he's
He's
a douchebag.
absolutely amazing in American History X and did a very good job in Fight Club.
He was
Yeah.
great in Fight Club. Yeah, exactly too. But he's just an asshole, like in
Yeah.
real, actual life.
All right. Well, Mark Ruffalo seems to be the exact opposite of an asshole. So maybe it was
Yeah,
his
he just
fault.
I
can't stop
actually like-
spoiling stuff. People
Yeah,
like to give
okay.
shit to Tom Holland for spoiling Marvel movies, but Mark Ruffalo is just as bad.
Actually, did you guys see what Brie Larson wore to the premiere?
No.
That's pretty cool. Actually, her and Scarlett Johansson, they had both wore dresses, obviously, but they had rings on their hand that had all the Infinity Stones on them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty
That was
dope.
pretty sweet.
What a cultural milestone that the Marvel Universe has been.
Right?
It's
That's
crazy.
incredible.
So much so that people they're like, the superhero fatigue is a thing we say now because it's just
Well,
been
so
just
obviously-
prevalent.
Sorry. Obviously, Endgame is the ending of the Marvel Universe in film for now. But what do you guys think they're going to come back with? Because obviously they're going to make money off of everything that they make. So,
Oh, I'm pretty sure that the movie cycle is not going to be interrupted at all. after
well, I
Endgame.
agree,
You
but
think so?
the thing is,
No, I think because they already have Spider-Man coming.
Right.
And
yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man it comes out after Endgame, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the bridge to whatever the next big story arc is going
I
to
know
be.
they've
They're
announced they're taking a
treating
year
the-
break though. Like I think
Well, I
after
agree,
Spider-Man there's gonna
but-
be a year break, which is like, oh, a year break instead of a 6-month break. Okay.
but here's the problem.
What?
3 of the actors are done after Endgame. So,
Yeah.
what are they
They'll-
going to do? They
probably
going to
that's
get new
fine.
actors?
There's-
Because
there's
nobody
so
wants
many-
new actors.
The
No, they're just
Avengers
gonna get-
have had such a rotating cast in the comics anyway. Like that's not even a big deal.
No, I know. I agree.
No,
but-
they'll just get new superheroes. In fact, some
Yeah.
of the main heroes now were B Squad heroes in the comics back in the day.
That's
Like
true.
Iron Man. Iron Man's not a big hero in
Yeah.
the comics.
That's
really.
very true.
The
He was
only
B
reason
Squad, he's huge now because of the
Yeah.
movies.
because
Oh.
they couldn't get the rights to Fantastic Four, like Richard, whatever I can't remember his
Yes,
last name.
exactly.
Yeah, that's their
was-
biggest comic,
He was the
yeah.
builder. He was the like technological head, and they couldn't get the rights from Fox, so they had to make it Iron Man.
Do you guys? Okay, here's my next question, real quick. Who do you guys think, if you want to answer, is gonna die? Do you think anybody's gonna die in Endgame, like any of the big heroes?
Probably all the people leaving.
Yeah, I would assume anyone whose contract's ending is going to die.
yeah,
That's
Captain
my
America.
assumption.
Yeah, I imagine Captain America's probably gonna die. I don't know if they're gonna try to make it sweet though, and just have him,
He's either
Be
gonna
done.
die or ride out into the sunset. One of the two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Another thing they could do is, pass the torch from a person to person type thing. They've done
That's
that in
true.
the comics several times. Like, okay, this is the new, Captain Marvel. That's what happened. Like, they kind of played that up in the movie with, Marvel being in the movie in Captain Marvel. But in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
comics, there was, a Captain Marvel for a long time, and then it became the character that Brie Larson's playing, and I can't remember their name, but...
Very true. Cool. That's all I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah,
That was a
good
that was
topic.
a-
I
that was a
like the
fun
little game.
Thanks.
That's pretty sweet.
was fun.
That's a good idea. And I'm glad I'm not rock for brains.
And
right.
and you know what? You know what? So what if I have rock for brains?
Right? We got this far.
Shut up, you uncultured swine.
So what you got, Jordan?
All right. Today I would like to share actually, to start off, it's a hill, a 5,000-foot hill called Coleto Fava. It is in Italy. And you're probably wondering, why the hell is Jordan talking about a hill? Well, it's not necessarily the hill, it's what's on top of the hill. It's this giant art project done by a group called Gelatin. Yes, just like the gelatin, the
Okay.
weird stuff. And this is called Haze, Hase. I'm not sure if that's actually how you pronounce it, but I'm pronouncing it that way. I'm going to post a link in Discord so you guys can check it out. What this art project is a giant rabbit, giant stuffed rabbit.
What?
That this group just put on top of the hill. It took 5 years of knitting to complete. This rabbit is 200 feet long and 20 feet high, and is just a stuffed rabbit. And the weird thing about it is they made it a decaying stuffed rabbit. So there's like guts spilling out of it. Basically it's very disturbing. And there's images on that page I sent you just so you guys can see how massive it actually is.
Yeah.
It is insane. And nobody really knows why they created it, but there's a little poem on here that I want to read from the creators. So, without further ado, here's this poem. Happy you feel as you climb up along its ears, almost falling into its cavernous mouth to the belly summit and look out over the pink woolen landscape of the rabbit's body. A country dropped from the sky, ears and limbs sneaking into the distance, from its side flowing heart, liver, and intestines. Happily in love you step down the decaying corpse through the wound, now small like a maggot, over a woolen kidney and bowel. Happy you leave like the larva that gets its wings from an innocent carcass at the roadside. Such is the happiness which made this rabbit. I love the rabbit. The rabbit loves me. So as you can tell by the poem, whoever made this fucking rabbit is a psychopath. I don't know if they were tripping on some kind of drugs or what was going on, but it's definitely a unique idea. And the crazy part about it is the only way to get up to the rabbit is a 20 to 30 minute hike up this giant hillside that's actually located in the Alps in Italy. But
I mean, human beings have had a really interesting, have had a really interesting relationship with death, from when we can start thinking. And this just kind of seems like the modern take on that, you know what I mean?
that's very true. That's very true.
It's like, the concept of mortality salience. Mortality salience, this is just something that I learned about when I was in college, but is a really interesting thing. Mortality salience is the awareness of an individual that his or her death is inevitable. And the term derives from the terror management theory, which is a super cool theory, which proposes that mortality silences causes existential anxiety that may be buffered by an individual's cultural worldview and or sense of self-esteem. So basically, terror management theory is people's way to deal with mortality salience. Mm-hmm. But and sometimes there's a lot of different theories and explanations and for why how people escape death and how to live forever. You do something amazing so people remember your name. You have children. Absolutely. So your genetic material is carried on. Some people knit giant rabbits and have their bowels spill out on top of a mountain. But it's a good reminder of our impending mortality.
It is. I absolutely agree.
And he's kind of framed in an easier way to absorb because it's like a stuffed animal, right?
Yeah.
Stuffed animals rip open all the time.
Well,
This one also happens to have fake stuffed intestines and stuff in there, but it is a more approachable way to think about death, I guess.
It kind of symbolizes too. If you look at the top image underneath the drawing of it, that was when it first started, 2005. And it looks almost brand new, other than the guts spilling out on the side there underneath its arm.
Yeah, and it's slowly decaying.
And then you go down to the bottom in 2011 and see all the wear and tear. Kind of represents,
it's so cool.
The impending mortality.
It's true. And eventually it's just going to disappear and become part of the earth again, just like a real body would. It's kind of
exactly
poetic.
So it's kind of cool. The question I have today about my topic, I'm kind of taking it in a different direction. What if you were to build a giant sculpture or piece of art, whatever you want to make, that is kind of weird or kind of offensive to anyone, what would you build?
Snap answer, because it's a joke. I'd like to build a wall across the border of Mexico and United States. But that's not my answer.
Oh, I
sorry.
feel like I know
had to make
somebody
the
that can
joke.
get behind that.
Yeah. All the Mexicans, they can get behind it on the other side.
Wow.
Yep. And
Not
then you're
who I
gonna
was-
make
I'm
them
kidding,
pay
I'm
for
kidding.
it, right?
Yes. We'll take their dollars as they cross the border.
I actually have two ideas.
Yeah, shoot.
But
'Cause
I'll
I
let you
need
guys
a
go
second
first.
to think. No, you
Okay.
shoot one of them because I need to think.
Well, my first idea, kind of stupid. I think it'd be kind of hilarious, though. Just build a giant, like, 200-foot plumbus. And the reason for that is a lot of people would understand it, think it's hilarious, and then you get the other 75% of the world that's like, what the fuck is this? Because, I mean, what the fuck is a plumbus? It just looks like a weird-shaped alien dick or something. So, but then my other idea that I came up with, actually more clever, and I actually feel kind of smart for the title that I'm giving it, would be a giant sculpture of Vincent van Gogh with some crows picking apart his ear, taking it off. Maybe like an interactive sculpture where the crow, you actually see the crows moving and like they rip his ear off. And I would like to call that Eerie Night. Kind of like Starry Night, but Eerie Night.
That's pretty great. I
But
think
yeah.
I would build like a tool or something like functional that's giant on a hill to make people think like, oh, maybe giants were here at some point.
Oh, that's
This
good.
is a back scratcher that only a giant could use.
Kind of like
It's
how
too
in,
big for humans, so maybe a giant was here using his back scratcher.
like Scotland has that, like the man on the side of the mountain or something. I think it's in Scotland. I can't remember. But there's like an outline of a person in the side of the mountain
Oh,
that somebody
yeah.
made like
I,
way
I
back
know what
when.
you're talking about.
Oh, I don't know, but yeah, something like that. Just kind
That's
of
a great idea.
just like some spooky evidence of modern giants.
It'd be pretty fun to like mess with people too, and occasionally just add like a giant footprint walking
Some-
away or something.
Some back hair stuck to the back scratcher.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, my recent visits to the hospital and stuff have probably put me in a position where I'm closer to death than I've ever been before. And I don't know if that's actually true because I've avoided some accidents that were pretty scary. But it definitely, unlike anything else in my life, had put the fear of death into me, going back to mortality salience. And I don't know, that kind of has changed me a lot in the past couple months. Just fearing death in a way that I never have before. But to symbolize that and mark that, I think I'd want to build maybe not like a giant statue, but like maybe just like a plaque with one of my poems on it, like somewhere that's visible, and maybe even meant a lot to me. But even I guess like a giant inscription would be pretty cool too. Or if I could just like spell it out with rocks on the side of a mountain, that'd be pretty awesome as well.
Minecraft style.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be pretty cool though.
That is cool though. Just
All
have
the-
something.
Yeah,
Leave your mark somewhere,
yeah,
big or small.
yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I like that idea.
Yeah. Thanks
You
for
know what
sharing.
you should do, Kyle?
So, yeah, what's up?
You should write a poem for when you die, and then if you happen to pass before us, we'll make sure that gets done for you.
I will absolutely do that.
All right.
I'll make it my
Well,
goal
at
for the
least
next
get it
week.
on your like gravestone or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude, I gotta be burned. I'm gotta be cremated. I can't take up a hole in the
Ooh,
ground.
okay.
So maybe get like a stone
We'll
plaque
get
and put it
some of the
somewhere.
letters. We'll get some of the letters made with your ashes.
Oh, ooh, that's an interesting idea. Okay.
That's
I
that
can
may
live
be
with
an
that.
interesting topic for another time, though. Like cremation versus like, what would you want to do? Like, I'm curious to know why you feel so strongly about cremation.
Sure.
I like that. Yeah.
That'd totally be a topic for next time. I'd love to talk about that. But I mean, other than
I
that,
also want to be cremated too, so
Hmm.
be
I'm not-
interested to hear a
I'm
different
not entirely sure.
perspective.
I'm not a fan
When-
of like modern funeral practices, so I wouldn't go the stuffed in a wooden box route. I don't think.
when you die, Jordan, and they eventually go through your stuff and come to me because of how many times we on Discord or something else have been like, you want to get married and fall in love and have ghost sex or something. And when they eventually come to me, I'll remember that and have you cremated.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Ghost sex.
So
Yeah, we're
We're
gonna
gonna
cut
keep
that
your
part
dust
out.
in the same urn. That way, you guys can get your ghost love on.
Exactly.
Oh, there you go.
We gotta be close to each other at all times. How else are our ghosts gonna find each other?
Right?
Well,
Some intermingling dust for that ghost love.
yeah. So I'm at the end of that. Thanks for sharing, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a good
Yeah,
night.
thanks.
And stop.
That's the conclusion. Thanks for watching.